Lot of candidates for the top 10 this week, especially for the number 10 slot. But I can tell you who's not going to be there. The Buffalo Bills. You complain all week after week after week after week. Tom, where are the Buffalo Bills? Tom, where are the Buffalo Bills? Tom, what about the Bills Mafia? And I put you on the top 10 at number 10, and what do? You lose to the Eagles. You blew it, Bills. You freaking blew it. Grossi Posse Packer Nation. Welcome to an episode of Packcast, the podcast where you don't have to be a Packers fan, but it sure does help. I am your host, Thomas Nathaniel Grossi. And today we will be taking a look at the top 10 teams in the NFL after week 8 because, again, Dolphins ain't making it, and neither are the Steelers. I don't care if the Steelers blow them out 115-2. Still not gonna happen. But let's jump into it. A lot of movement going on within the top 10, and some teams sliding off completely. So let's start off with the most difficult one, and that is at the number 10 spot. Now, there are a bunch of teams I could put here. I was tempted to put the Texans. They had a battle with the Raiders, but the fact that they lost J.J. Watt for the season, I have to rank them a bit lower because they're just going to have to rely hard on Deshaun Watson. While he's amazing and has all the talent in the world, they are going to drop down a few spots for me there. I was also thinking the Cowboys, but then I realized, oh wait, they just beat the Eagles and had a bye week. I was like, no wonder I was having a good week because they didn't play. So yeah, they didn't get that either. And so it came down to this one team, and that was the L.A. Rams. Sliding into the top 10. I got to give them credit where credit's due now. They obviously just beat up a crappy Bengals team. But Kupp had an amazing day. Goff had a good day, 372 yards and 2 touchdowns. And you look at this, and this is not necessarily because the Rams, I think, are that good, but they've had problems on the offensive side of the ball. They've been able to put up points, but Goff is struggled, but he actually looked pretty good. They were able to get the run game going a little bit, but this really was the Kupp show. And so, while I don't think the Rams are going to be staying here for much longer, it's like a revolving door. They just, the Bills get it one time, maybe the Cowboys will get into the top 10, and the Texans, and then maybe the Rams, and it just goes around and around until we die. So, the Rams for me are going to slide into the top 10 just because over the Cowboys, over the Texans with that injury, I just think that right now they're a little bit more of a completed team, especially with guys like Jalen Ramsey. And let's move on to numero 9, and that is the 5-2 Indianapolis Colts. Now, they had you had a scary close game there with the Broncos, my friend. You got it done. Jacoby Brissett's no touchdown on the day, but was able to lead the final drive that got him into field goal range to seal the deal. It's a tough game, and the Broncos, they are a bit of a tough opponent, though. I mean, their defense has improved. Obviously they got Joe Flacco, not anymore, because, he's out for next week, I believe. But the Colts are a well-put-together team. They're a well-coached team. And so because of that, I think they can sneak in at the number 9 spot. Then moving on to number 8, and that is the Kansas City Chiefs. Yes, they lost last night. Yes, they've lost 3 home games in a row. Yes, they're at 5-3. But they're still above their division because the Chargers ain't going anywhere quickly, and the Raiders, they're putting up fights, but I don't think they're making the playoffs, and the Broncos, sorry. But they looked good with Matt Moore. Matt Moore did everything that he could have, Andy Reid and that team could have possibly wanted him to do. He looked comfortable in the pocket because our defense wasn't getting to them. Their pass rush looked real good, even though they were missing key guys on defense because our offensive line could not hold them to save our lives. They were getting pressure on Rodgers basically the entire evening, and they kept the game super duper close. And so I'm looking at this with, obviously, they're going to get a tremendously better with Patrick Mahomes when he's back. But there's also key guys on that offense and defense that once they get back, they're going to be firing on all cylinders. And so even without Patrick Mahomes, they can win this game. I think they're going to have a shot at beating Minnesota if Mahomes is not ready to go next week. We'll kind of wait and see. But yeah, for the Chiefs, they still are going to be within the top 10, even though they suffered a loss this week, because there's just so much talent on that team. Then moving on to number 7, and that is the Seattle Seahawks, who are sitting at 6-2. Things got a little dicey there against the Falcons, because you were doing so well in the first half, and then not so well in the second half. The Falcons were able to bounce back, and we were like, oh, there's that offense that they've been missing, and it was done without Matt Ryan as well. Atlanta completely dominated the second half. But the Seahawks, Russell Wilson, able to bounce back after a terrible week and a loss last week. And so the Seahawks are still a damn good team. They will most likely get a playoff spot. Kill me. I really hope they don't play the Packers. But the defense, there's a lot of question marks there. I mean, there really is. I mean, for allowing the Falcons to come back, that would make me a little hesitant if I'm a Seahawks fan. Then moving on to number 6, and that is the 5-2 Baltimore Ravens. They had a bye this week, and they are going to go to war against the Patriots on Sunday night this coming week. But they're still comfortably above on the AFC North, and that is not going to change anytime soon. You still got Lamar Jackson, you still got Ingram, they got all the weapons. The defense has improved, and so I think they're still a good team outside of the top 5, though. And then here we go again. Yep, you freaking Minnesota Vikings. I looked at the score and I was like, for a brief moment, I was like, could the Vikings blow it against the Redskins? And at that moment, I felt joy. And then that went away. The Vikings are at 6-2. It wasn't the blowout that many expected against the Redskins, but Cousins was efficient, didn't look like it in fantasy, and the running game got it done with a good 1-2 punch. And so the Vikings were able to take care of business, and so because of that, they stay a game out from the NFC North and the freaking Packers. But, yeah, I hope you go away real soon. Then going on to number 4, that is your Green Bay Packers. And right now, do you hear it? Do you hear it? Everywhere, thousands of 49ers fans just cried out in joy and excitement. Yep, there you go, 49ers fans. You're for real. I admit it. You did it. Yep, the Packers are going to be at number 4 here at 7-1. So they go into Arrowhead. They win a tough game against a confident Matt Moore, winning 31-24. The defense did just enough to contain the Chiefs, even though they allowed a bunch of explosive plays. But they held guys like Travis Kelce, except for that one blown coverage by Blake Martinez, in check. Tyreek Hill was kept under 100 yards, which is always a positive. The O-line, though, struggled. There was an injury to Brian Bulaga. Hopefully he's ready to go. But Aaron Rodgers was running for his life a bunch of the night. And this was the 4th game without Devontae, but this is also the 4th straight game that we have won. And so the Packers are finding unique ways to get it done, which, again, is a balanced football team. But there are still some issues on the defensive side of the ball and potential production issues on the offensive side of the ball. Though, in those last 4 games, we have put up over 30 points for 3 of them. Then number 3, you have the San Francisco 49ers. Yup, at 7-0. I said for weeks, I was like, I don't know. They're playing soft teams. And then they beat the Rams. And I was like, all right, respect. They get a little bit of it. And then they blew the freaking Panthers out of the water. Kyle Allen, who did not have a pick coming into this game, had 3 on this day. Nick Bosa literally just demolished that team single-handedly. The offense was firing on all cylinders. You think Emmanuel Sanders is a little bit happy? The defense has been absolutely unstoppable. And so because of that, the 49ers move ahead of the Packers, and they are sitting at number 3. Now, moving on to number 2, and this is another NFC powerhouse, and they've been sitting at that number 2 spot for quite some time now. That is the 7-1 New Orleans Saints. Drew Brees came back and had himself a day, shutting down the Cardinals 31-9. The defense held Kyler Murray. The defense looked really damn good, and the offense was clicking. Michael Thomas having himself a day. Latavius Murray having himself another day, and this is all without Kamara. So, you're looking at the top guys or the top teams in the NFC, and it's good. If these guys all make the playoffs, it is going to be one hell of a January, and I cannot wait for it. But for me, they're a little bit above the 49ers because while the 49ers did put up 51 points, absolutely, I think the Saints are a little bit more of a well-balanced team, and I think the Saints would be able to pull it off, but who knows? We'll see. Then, of course, going back to number 1, like a lobotomy in the skull, I just want to live in a world where I'm in my own head, not thinking about the New England Patriots, but here we are. Yup, 8-0. Coming off to a fast start, putting up 17 points because the Browns just fumble, and intercepted their way right into a 17-0 hole. And then the offense really didn't look so great after that, but they did enough to keep the Browns from coming back because the Browns were able to stabilize a little bit. But, not a perfect game from the Patriots. Conditions really weren't good, but again, they did enough to remain undefeated. They have a big Sunday night matchup against the Ravens, which will be a real big test for them. Their next 5 games are no walk in the park for the Patriots, and so we're about to see if that defense and that offense are for real quick. But let me know what you think down in the comments below. You can always find me at TomGrossiComedy.com or at TomGrossiComedy, all the social media you see down below. Check out podcasts on SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Play Music, Spotify, and of course the YouTube. And a big shout out and thank you all the Patreon members over at patreon.com/TomGrossiComedy. But thank you so much for watching. We're probably going to throw another video out today. I'm Tom Grossi. And as always, go Pack Go.